entertainment. You know, when you're a great fighter, a great entertainer in general, you want the person to say, when do I see that person again? When's he gonna play again? When's he gonna fight again? You know, you gotta be able, if you can't put in seats, you're gonna get fired. You know.
40 fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's gonna win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. And it didn't take me going to camp to know this.
Okay.
Weight game. So Israel Majimov says that if Terence Crawford bulks up, that's going to be the biggest mistake he can possibly make. And that's going to hinder him from being victorious against Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Mike Tyson shared his perspective after training with Terence Crawford, emphasizing the importance of staying calm before such a monumental showdown with Canelo Alvarez. Tyson explained that while the pressure on this stage is immense, the true battle lies within the mind. According to him, if Crawford can control his emotions and avoid being overwhelmed by the moment, he can perform at his highest level and make victory appear much easier.
You know, fighters, pressure, right? Pressure's not being hit. You know, everybody thinks pressure's like getting on stage. No, pressure's the thought of being hit. And that's how they fall. They thought it's going. I'm not hitting that hard, but they think I hit.
So
It's all psychological.
Are you, when you're walking to the ring, are you noticing anything, or are you so locked in?
I see everything moving. Every person, every girl. I see every.
Dude, your walk-ins would last longer than the fight sometimes.
Do anyone have a napkin on my towels? Because I'm sweating like a pit in one hole up here.
You sweat.
We will get you one.
You sweat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're sweating like Charles Barkley at a spelling bee.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sweating pretty hard there too.
Exactly. So, Mike, we all know you hit hard. Who was the first person that when they hit you, you was like, oh, okay, this guy hits pretty hard?
Amir Khan, a seasoned boxer who once faced Canelo Alvarez himself, spoke about the magnitude of a potential clash between Canelo and Terence Crawford. Khan praised Canelo's greatness and unmatched experience but also highlighted Crawford's punching power and growing strength as he adapts to higher weight classes. In his view, this will not be a one-sided contest, as both fighters bring extraordinary skill sets. For Khan, the fight is more than just another matchup, it is the meeting of two exceptional talents, each capable of altering the outcome with a single move. While acknowledging Canelo's dominance at higher weights, Khan cautioned that Crawford's adaptability, ring IQ, and resilience make the fight unpredictable.
He did that to Canelo after, so to your point, can Crawford do the same? Coming up from 54 and 47, can he, or will that, throw off the catch and shoot? I was gonna catch and shoot,
Make me think. I'm not catching and shooting.
We're catching and resetting and getting out of this range for a minute or two, a second or two.
Where Arrow came back to the corner, I had a look on my face, I guess. My dad said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Nothing." Like, classic Sean, nothing. He said, "Sean, tell me what's wrong." I said, my legs are kind of tight. He said, "Your legs kind of tight?" He looked back, looked behind him. He would always do this and look back at the other corner. I don't know why. He looked back at them.
It was a habit, probably.
He said, all right, we're not gonna use our legs so much this round. And I was thinking to myself, like, I need these legs.
I'm not trying to wear these shots.
So, to your point, when there's a feeling,
when the nervous system goes out,
where does that adjustment take place? Do you trust the adjustment? Do you implement it? So that next round I did settle down a little more. I was
lost the round.
Whatever. Hello.
I don't know what round it is. Chill out.
He was nowhere around here. He poured his water on you. So we got some time until this fight. So we ain't gotta pour it all out at one time. We'll work our way up to this one.
Try to get on big guests to lead up to the fight.
Expect some more very, very big guests, and expect some very, very big things from the Puerto Rico podcast. The week of Crawford versus Canelo. Canelo versus Crawford takes place here. What is that? September 6th?
13th. I was just gonna say, I've been critical of the fight because I felt like it serves as a foreground to the Ali Act stuff.
Boxing analysts have raised concerns regarding Crawford's age and limited experience in heavier weight classes. At 38, by the time this fight potentially happens, Crawford will face the inevitable challenges that come with aging. Although he successfully moved up to 154 pounds to defeat Israel Madrimov, critics remain unconvinced that one bout proves he is prepared for someone as seasoned at higher divisions as Canelo. Age affects speed, reflexes, and recovery, key factors when facing a relentless opponent. While Crawford's skills remain sharp, analysts question whether his body can still respond with peak intensity. They frame this as the toughest test of his career, technically, physically, and mentally.
Successful. September 13th, Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium, when he takes on another first ballot Hall of Famer, 4-division world champion, 2-time undisputed world champion, and reigning undisputed super middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Terence Crawford had one fight at 154. That was against Israel Majimov, the WBA junior middleweight world champion, right? And since then, Terence Crawford has moved up now to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez, okay? And so prior to that, he spent 5 years at what? Welterweight. So the concern that people have for Terence Crawford, rightfully so, is that Terence Crawford will be 38 years of age 2 weeks after the fight. So he's 37, okay? Terence Crawford has one fight at 154. Prior to that, Terence Crawford has been competing, okay, since 2018 for the last 7 years at 147. Since June of 2018, he's been fighting at 147. His only fight outside of that division in the last 5 to 6 years was his fight against Israel Majimov at 154, which he won, unanimous decision. I thought he handily won, but people thought that he struggled. Israel Majimov is now 10 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 7 wins by way of knockout because he lost his last fight to Mexican superstar, WBC junior middleweight interim champion Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Crawford and his team have been vocal about their preparation, insisting they are focused on avoiding the mistakes made by Jermall Charlo, who lost decisively to Canelo. Crawford has made it clear he is not Charlo. His discipline, style, and ring IQ are what set him apart. His training camp has emphasized movement, precision, and smart pacing rather than brute force. Their strategy centers on frustrating Canelo with defense and creating openings for counters. Training has been intense, with conditioning and sparring sessions specifically designed to mimic Canelo's power and pressure.
Team Crawford just revealed that they're currently working on making sure that the Omaha native doesn't end up like Jermall Charlo this coming September 13th when he faces Canelo Alvarez. Now this report comes from Boxing Scene, wherein it was just revealed by somebody from Crawford's camp that Terence Crawford is, quote, wary of repeating the mistake that former 154-pound champion Jermall Charlo made to a new weight limit without consideration of other factors. Boxing Scene further elaborated by saying that Crawford wants to retain his ability to fight with fluidity, maximizing the effectiveness of his power punches from both hands and ability to fight from a southpaw stance. With that said, Crawford's camp is now on full lockdown from the media or any sort of distraction up until fight week. Now, it's definitely worth considering that while it's
technicians and analysts have highlighted the risks associated with moving up in weight. Speed and agility, two of Crawford's greatest assets, can decline when bulk is added. Recent photos showing Crawford looking noticeably heavier sparked debate, though experts caution that pictures can be misleading due to angles and lighting. The real question remains, will Crawford maintain his quickness at a higher weight? Added muscle brings more power, but it can also reduce stamina and flexibility, factors that may affect him against a relentless fighter like Canelo.
Human. I mean, the more you age and the more weight you gain, of course you're going to be slower. Now, that doesn't mean that he won't be an elite fighter anymore. No, of course not. When you talk about special fighters like Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, they can handle themselves against anyone on any given night in the worst circumstances possible. That is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get back into the discussion when it comes to Terence Crawford carrying the 168 division, when it comes to the 168 pound weight. So if you actually think about it, Terence Crawford, how is the man looking right now? I know, yes, I know that we have seen the new pictures of Bud Crawford with him looking absolutely massive. But I actually talked about this in one of my previous videos, ladies and gentlemen, which you can go back and check out. Terence Bud Crawford, don't let these pictures fool you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let these pictures fool you. Yes, of course Terence Bud Crawford gained weight, but the pictures make it seem like Terence Bud Crawford looks like a heavyweight. Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, the lighting and the pump and the angle, everything plays a part in how you look in pictures. You know what I mean? Like, this is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. I can show you 2 pictures of me taken within 24 hours, and in one picture, my physique looks completely different than the other picture. One picture I can take after having a unbelievable workout, with a nice sweat on, with a nice pump, with some nice lighting, and a nice angle. I would look completely different than when I look right now, or getting out of bed, which I just...
Veteran trainer Abel Sanchez dismissed Crawford's chances, bluntly stating that the fight resembles more of a sparring session than a true contest. Sanchez argued that Crawford is simply too small to compete with Alvarez, whose size, strength, and experience at higher divisions give him a decisive edge. While acknowledging Crawford's greatness, Sanchez stressed that skill alone cannot overcome the physical realities of boxing.
Quote, it will be a sparring session for Saul Canelo Alvarez. Coach Abel Sanchez dismissed Crawford's chance against Canelo, and it's really because of the weight gain. Renowned Mexican trainer Abel Sanchez has reignited the hype surrounding Canelo Crawford, scheduled September 13th, Las Vegas. Speaking to the ring, Gennady Golovkin, trainer, says, quote, Crawford is a great fighter, but that's why weight divisions exist. Canelo has proven that when he moves up, he faces and beats the best in each category. Neither Bivol could hurt him, nor could my fighter in 2 fights. And he's talking about Golovkin. And even though Canelo and Golovkin fought 3 times, Abel did not train him for the 3rd fight. It was Jonathan Banks. So that's why he said in the 2 fights that he's familiar with, he's saying that Golovkin never really hurt Canelo. The weight jump, the big disadvantage. Crawford, undefeated record. He's 41-0, 31 knockouts. Agreed to move up to 168, blah, blah, blah. And he says, quote, if Crawford had taken 3 or 4 years to gain strength and mass properly, he would have a better chance. But doing it in just over a year is too risky. He'll be slower and Canelo will dictate the pace. Now, this is a recent picture of Crawford, who definitely looks in shape, and you know, that's what we come to expect from a guy like Crawford.
Chris Algieri offered a different perspective, criticizing the level of hype surrounding this fight. While fans and promoters hail it as one of the biggest in history, Algieri disagrees. He admits it is exciting but insists it falls short of past iconic matchups between evenly matched fighters in their primes. He warns that the public may be overestimating the drama, given that Crawford is stepping into unfamiliar territory against a proven champion at higher weights.
I love it, because I have a lot of casuals who go to me like, man, I can't wait for this fight. This is the best matchup that could be made. And I'm like, no, it's not. Certainly not. Definitely not. Definitely not the best fight that can be made right now. I can think of a dozen fights that I would rather see, and a lot of them include Inoue against a bunch of different guys that I would rather see over this fight. But casual fans don't care that much about 122-pound guys who fight across the world in Japan. They care about big names and characters. But at the end of the day, when you look at this on paper, Crawford's 38, Canelo's 35. Neither looked very impressive in their last fight. They're still 3 weight classes apart. That has not changed, you know, and Crawford hasn't fought in a year plus. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of poo-pooing of this on paper. So I'm glad somebody says it. So thank you.
This guy, he didn't say his name. Yeah,
I like this guy. He came out there and just said his piece and left.
That's the type of guy that definitely calls in the WFAN here in New York. It's like, we need Boone fired. The Yankees suck. I don't look forward to anything. But,
what's up with that bullpen? Yeah, all right, I'm out of here.
I'm out. I'll hang up and listen. But yes, like, you said there are a bunch of fights you'd rather see. There are a bunch of fights I'd rather see both these guys in rather than the one we're getting. Like, I'd rather see.
That's a great way to put it, too.
Yeah, Boots versus Crawford. I'd rather see Canelo versus Benavidez, Canelo versus Bivol, Canelo versus anyone at 168 of these top 5 there.
What about Virgil and Crawford? I like that fight. That got mentioned at one point.
Absolutely. I mean,
Great
but
fight.
this is how boxing works. We'll all be excited on September 13th because it is a big event. We've talked about this numerous times on the show. We need big events, at least 1 or 2 of them a year, to stay relevant as a sport. It's on Netflix. We're all going to be excited that week heading into it. Maybe even that guy.
Hey, Dan and Chris. Love the show. This is Nero calling from Hollywood. I was wondering, with so many people taking Bud Crawford to win, I think at one point it felt like a hot take, and now it's becoming sort of a standard take. I hope this isn't too much of an abstract question, but can you think of another time where someone chose what seemed to be a hot take and then become the regular take? And what was the result of that fight? Personally, I think it's a bridge too far for Bud Crawford, and I think people are underestimating Canelo, but who knows?
Boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult stressed the disparity in the level of competition both fighters have faced. He argued that none of Crawford's past opponents could handle the caliber of fighters Canelo has consistently beaten across multiple divisions. Critics often accuse Canelo of carefully selecting opponents, but supporters counter that every fighter he faced has been a legitimate champion or elite contender. Comparing resumes, the difference is clear. Canelo has battled and often beaten elite opponents across weight classes, while Crawford's undefeated record lacks victories over names of equal stature.
Name the fighters Crawford fought who would beat Triple G. That Spence that Crawford fought, that Kell Brook that Crawford fought, that Sean Porter that Crawford fought, would any of them beat Callum Smith at 168? I'm not sure how many fighters Crawford fought would beat the Miguel Cotto that Canelo fought. This is what I'm trying to say. When it comes to skill, experience has a lot to do with it. Case in point, you get an Austin Trout, you get a Caleb Plant, you get a Lara, you get a Floyd Mayweather, you get a Bivol. Just those 5, when it comes to experience, gives him the right experience that when he fights Crawford, he's not like, I don't know what this is like. There's not one fighter Crawford fought that would give him the experience against Canelo.
Training footage shows Crawford's intense dedication as he prepares for this monumental test. His camp includes rigorous strength training, high-level sparring, and conditioning drills to boost endurance. He has been experimenting with new methods to prepare for Canelo's power in the longer, grueling exchanges that await. Beyond physical training, his team emphasizes discipline and mental toughness. The key challenge lies in dealing with Canelo's relentless style. Against Errol Spence, Crawford dominated, but Spence did not possess the size, power, or patience of Alvarez. This is an entirely different level of challenge.
And that usually breaks them down. So with some fighters, I see is that they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of like, he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills. He does everything almost like perfect. But yeah, he's flat-footed, but you got to realize that he also has hell of a head movement and body movement. He understands and he's perfected at rolling with the punch thing. He's been rolling with punches like just to take off the steam off the punch.
Former world champion Kell Brook provided a detailed breakdown of why he favors Canelo. Brook acknowledged Crawford's impressive win over Errol Spence but argued that Spence is not on Canelo's level. Alvarez combines power, experience, and tactical control in ways Crawford has never encountered. Thriving in higher weight classes, Canelo has consistently proven himself against bigger, stronger fighters. Brook believes Crawford's elite technical skills may not be enough to counter Canelo's advantages in size, strength, and ring intelligence. He described the fight as perhaps the most difficult of Crawford's career, facing a complete fighter like never before.
You've got to sway towards Canelo. Crawford's gonna have to, move up, and I knew when I boxed Golovkin, there's a big difference, especially with someone that, fighting a middleweight, a mediocre world champion's okay, but when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but, Crawford's very, very, very good.
Do you think Crawford's still got the legs? Obviously, he's very much got great IQ in the ring, but he's very much a good mover as well. Do you feel like he's still got the legs to be maybe out-moving Canelo if he needs to?
Well, I don't know. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more, he kind of sets his feet. He's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving. You know what I mean? I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed.
That concludes today's video. Stay tuned for more updates. Until next time.